Yeah, it's a nice way to cap the season off at home, give the fans something to celebrate. I don't think they, at the end, provided much resistance, so I don't think we should get ahead of ourselves and think we're that good. We're going to definitely play a much, much better team next week. But yeah, it was good preparation for that in moments, but it's certainly not going to be that easy next week. I think we're going to Indy if everything worked out. So a team that we haven't beat, but certainly a team we think we can beat, but it's going to be difficult. But yeah, I think we're in really good form. We're pretty healthy. So it's tough decisions that are going to have to be made by me, but that's a good problem to have. So yeah, really looking forward to next week and hopefully beyond.
As a player and a coach, games like this are very unusual. What was going through this team's mind? What did you have to make sure you had the conversation going into the second half to make sure that they took this as serious as we do?
Yeah, we said that to them, we said from the start, like, don't be that team that shows up and thinks because they're not providing much resistance that you've made it. So we talked about that before the game, halftime. We talked about just keep going and be professional. They're here to do a job. They're here to put on a positive experience for the fans. So yeah, I think we accomplished that. Power Ranger, you got one?
This game had multiple records broken. J.J. Williams scores the first hat trick in club history. This is the highest points or highest goals produced in a single game. Like you said a second ago, this team may not be of the same caliber as a team like Indy, though. What do you have to make sure, from a mindset perspective, this team takes after this win?
Yeah, I don't think anything from tonight. I think they're a pretty level-headed group, and they know what's going to be expected. We haven't done anything. We've qualified for the playoffs, and we're fifth, but we're going on the road. So, yeah, we're in no position to be taking anybody lightly or getting ahead of ourselves.
And then, of course, you are now going against Indy for this first playoff match in club history. Another record broken this year with this team. Is this, looking back at the last time you played them, it was a 1-0 loss, a game that you had in heavy rotation in a very congested week. Looking back, is that a team that you feel you played the best at that time, or is there going to be a different type of experience when you head back to Indy to take them on again?
Yeah, our lineup will certainly be different. That was probably physically the most difficult week of the season. I think we were in Detroit, and then we went straight to Indy, so it was difficult. People away from home, and other players deserve to play. So we had, we always talked about the depth of the team, and we had to give those guys an opportunity because it was no way that any group could have played 3 games back to back to back. And we also wanted to make sure we were fresh for a big home game against Hartford. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a totally different experience for both teams.
Speaking of players getting a chance to play, Amish Shapiro-Thompson gets his first minutes of the season in the very last game of the season. Obviously, it's early, but what were your initial thoughts and impressions of him taking that first chance out there on the pitch?
Yeah, look, I've known him since he's 13 years old. He's still the same player. He works, he has energy, he has intensity, he covers ground, he gives everything for the team. So he went in and did exactly what I thought he would do, what I know he can do. And he's just been unfortunate, like he started the season with a bad injury, but he's always shown up and been a good team guy. Like, as you can see, everybody loves him, the fan loves him, we love him, the players love him. And he's just consummate professional, good teammate. He's been really unlucky in his career with injuries, and then when he came back into the team was in a much different state, so it was really difficult for him to get minutes. But yeah, I was happy to get him some tonight.
With the playoffs ahead, you can't say you're taking this game by game now because you're in the playoffs. The next game is an elimination match. What are you focusing on now that you're into this part? You had mentioned in previous post games defense was a topic that you wanted to continue to drill with this team. What's on the top of your mind going into these playoffs?
Yeah, I think, look, I was disappointed to give up a goal tonight. Like we talked about, we have 9 shutouts. We wanted 10, so we didn't accomplish that. We talked about scoring 50 goals. We accomplished that. We talked about getting 50 points. We accomplished that. So, but the playoffs, if you don't concede goals, you always give yourselves a chance. So, you know what playoff games are like. 1-0, it could be over. You let a team score. Indy's a good defensive team. The game could be over. So we need to be difficult to play against, hard to play against on the road. And yeah, we want to score. I've never said I just want to be a defensive team and be out of possession, but all good teams defend and know how to defend well. So that's first priority. But yeah, looking to go there and cause them problems as well. Yeah, I don't think I think the pivotal moment for this team was, I always call it a loss because it feels like a loss, but it wasn't. It was the tie at Memphis. We were leading 2-0 and got a red card. Free kick they scored off it, gave up a penalty, end up tying 2-2. So in the locker room, it was not a good place. And, it was just a lot of sad people, and me included, because they gave a lot at that point. And to drop points at that fashion, it was probably a really pivotal moment for us. And we gave them 3 days off, different environment, different people may handle things differently. You may bring them in the next day and, we have to get better. But the human beings, they need time to process information. So we gave them 3 days off, and we said, yeah, we're going to the most difficult place to play in the league. What type of team do you want to be? Do you respond positively, or do you want to respond negatively? And it could have went one way, it could have went the other. We chose to be positive and be a good team. So I think something happened that night in that locker room. I don't know what, but something happened in that Memphis locker room that made us a team. And we became a team, and from that moment, it's been a positive experience. Thanks. Nobody wants to ask about 15 draws? For sure thought somebody's going to ask about that.
I mean, I'll ask, Coach, is this a glass half full or glass half empty record? 15 draws, breaking the USL record, not only total league, but also in an expansion season. What are your thoughts on that?
It's probably the thing that I'm most proud of. And I know people look at it and be like, yeah, you tied the record for draws, but teams below us have 15 losses. So would I rather have 15 losses than 15 ties? Next year, the goal will be to turn 5 to 10 of those draws into wins, and all of a sudden we're sitting up top of the table with Louisville. So you go through the history of any league and you look at expansion teams, they probably lose more than they do win. We have a winning record, which I'm really proud of. Yeah, 15 ties, but I'm sure if you ask a lot of expansion teams that have 15 losses, would they rather have 15 ties? So for me, it's what we always talked about, being close. We're really, really close, and we were in games and we were difficult to beat. And next year we turn some of those draws into wins, and we're sitting in a much better position. So for me, I'm proud of it. I don't feel ashamed about it now one bit. I love it because it means we're difficult to beat.
Coach, on fan appreciation night, and if this is the last home game of the season, do you have any message for the Defiants out there? We can pop 10 smokes today?
Yeah, I mean, look, the support, they're so loud. Multiple people came up to me today after the game and just said thank you, and yeah, I just feel like I'm doing my job, but it's really nice to know that people appreciate it, and people are proud of this team, and that's what we wanted. I never promised wins. I never promised draws. I just said I would promise you a team that you will be proud of, and a team that will represent Rhode Island and will act and behave like Rhode Islanders do. So, yeah, I think support's been great. I think people can identify with the team. The team has the spirit of the community, the spirit of the state. So yeah, the support's been amazing. The atmosphere is amazing. It makes the players want to perform. Like, it makes them want to perform better, because it's no matter, there's been some cold, even the Loudoun game, it was not a lot of people, but it was still noisy, and the team takes energy from that. So it's so important. I talk about 2020. Like, I love soccer. I love the game. I love it. 2020, watching games in the Premier League and MLS and all that with no fans, it sucked. Like, it's terrible. was a terrible experience. And I did not love the game. I stopped watching games. So fans are everything. Like, they're everything. They make the whole experience. And then to have good fans that are into it, and yeah, they are everything. Sports is nothing without supporters and fans.
Are you going to miss your time here at Bern?
I'm really looking forward to playing games at our brand new stadium next year. I'm really looking forward to having a home and something that we can call our own.
Yeah, we knew that this was the last game and that it was fan appreciation night, and it was at home, and it was a real opportunity for us to build some momentum going into playoffs. And, we came into the game respecting our opponent and trying to execute our game plan regardless of who's on the other side of the pitch. And I think that's what we did. And, we had a really good performance and definitely gave us some momentum and confidence going into next week.
Did this scoreline surprise any of the players? It is very unusual to see that kind of scoreline on the pitch.
I mean, I wouldn't say it surprised us. I mean, obviously it's not every day you see a scoreline like that, but with the quality that we have and with the players that we have getting in those areas with chances to put goals away, I back our guys every time that if we get 8 chances like that, we'll put 8 goals away. So
You are now officially, cannot be taken away from you, the USL Golden Playmaker. What are your initial thoughts learning that you took home the top honor in the league?
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of speechless. I mean, it's something that is such a huge honor for me, and I'm very humbled to, receive this recognition and get this achievement. And it's something that at the beginning of the year, coming into the USL Championship my first year, that, wasn't even in the back of my mind. And to be here now, 30-something games later, it's amazing.
Coach earlier said that, the job's not done. You now have this playoff theme of never say die. And I'm curious, was this kind of match and result what you guys needed to get ready for a tougher game away to Indy next week in playoffs?
Yeah, I think regardless of who we played this week, would have been the same outcome because we know that this was prep for Indy. So we came into this game looking at it like a playoff game already. And I think you saw that by the way we handled our business tonight. And we're going to look to just repeat and do the same thing next week.
We also asked Coach how he felt about the draws. I'd love to learn from a player's perspective. How do you feel about the 15 draws this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely frustrating because, a lot of those draws should have and could have been wins. And when you look at it from the flip side and, it's us scoring a late equalizer, those are the draws where, it's like, okay, like we're happy to get a point out of the game. But, you're never happy with the draw because you always want 3 points. But, we found our feet and it worked out the way it was supposed to work out.
Going into this playoff run, what's the most important thing on your mind now? You're in it. It's the next game is elimination until you're either won the whole thing or you're out. What's going through your mind through that?
I think it's just living in the moment, taking everything day by day, and focusing on the task at hand, which for us now is Indy, and not looking ahead to the next game or who we could play or what the possible scenarios could be in the future, but just worrying about next Saturday or whenever it is in Indy and beating them.
Any special celebration plans for tonight after not only just this historic win, but a successful season getting into the playoffs for the first year for this club?
No. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna probably go home and have some grapes and go to bed.
Celebrate all of that. What did this feel like for you?
Sure. Yeah, it was definitely exciting for the group. We knew the last game before playoffs we had to take momentum with us, so we knew we had to go out and get a win and respect the opponent. No matter what their record was, you need to go out and respect them, and we wanted to go get goals for the fans and make it exciting, and to get 8 of them was exciting for everyone involved. So yeah, it just feels great to have this momentum.
Speaking of goals, you score your first goal of the season here in front of the fans. What was that like for you? Normally, again, you're the defender, you're the cleanup guy. What was it like to get on the scoring sheet?
Yeah, it feels great. To be honest, I was just trying to get myself in the box. I didn't think that Zach could get the ball to me where I was, but when it got through, I was glad and was able to take advantage. So yeah, it felt great to score at home, get that off my back, and have one going into playoffs. Hopefully can find a way to get another.
Speaking of going into playoffs, this game's probably an outlier against more tough opponents coming ahead. Does this prepare you guys in the right way, or is this just to celebrate in the moment and focus on the next game next week?
Yeah, I think look, we had to come in and respect the opponent and go into every challenge, go into every duel 100%, and we did that. And we're not expecting to put 8 up anytime soon. Hopefully we do. But yeah, I think it was just about going into this game, respecting what those guys could do, because there's good players on the field, and to go out there and put in that performance. I think, obviously it's going to be really tough going away from home that first playoff round, but that brings us a lot of confidence heading into that first round. So I'm just glad we were able to take care of business and give ourselves that confidence.
You've now seen all the Eastern Conference opponents, both home and away. What does this game against Indy coming up mean for you? What do you think that your opponent is considering, looking at the successful run this club's had this season?
Indy's always tough. I think that one of our goals was to finish in that top 4, and we just missed out, so it's frustrating. But to put ourselves as high as 5 gives us a great opportunity to go on the road in Indy and play a game we know we match up well in. We know that 4 or 5 game, anything can happen, and we're full of confidence to make something happen. And who knows, if we stay in 2-3 rounds, hopefully we can find a way to get a game at home and really make something exciting happen for Rhode Island.
You're a leader in the locker room. You've played in USL playoffs before with your former team, the Riverhounds. What are you going to be telling the guys over the next week to get ready for this game?
I think just play with confidence. Just be yourselves. Go out there. Nothing has to change. Like, obviously, everyone's going to be a bit tight. It's going to be high pressure. It's going to be high stakes. It's going to be flying around for the first 15 minutes. But if we can keep our confidence, be ourselves, we can really take advantage of every matchup and go a long way with this team.
And then trying to catch you a little off guard here for a moment.
All right.
What's been your favorite moment here at home in Burns Stadium this season? I mean, this game was incredible for fans as a thank you gift. What's been one of the moments that you really just kind of register in your mind when you think about all the time you've played here at Burn?
Yeah, I think there was a stretch in the summer that was really fun. We were obviously having the great fan support all year long, but there was this stretch in the summer. I think it was right after we beat Louisville away, and we came home, and I think we had El Paso, and we had one of our best performances of the season. I think we had a 3-0 win that game, and just being able to celebrate the goals with the fans that day, and a lot of days, but that day in particular, like that summertime with the fans in Rhode Island is special. So every time we can celebrate goals with them is great.
Mark, buenas noches.
Thank you.
Gusto tenerte con nosotros. Bueno, ya te preguntaba él en inglés, pero quisiéramos oírlo en español, tu experiencia, tu satisfacción de esta histórica temporada con el Rhode Island FC, y algún mensaje para los fans hispanos para que puedan venir más al estadio, porque no veo el crecimiento de la comunidad hispana en el Rhode Island FC aún.
Yeah. Apologies. I don't speak Spanish well, but I obviously understand what you're saying. And, we really appreciate the support from all of our fans, but particularly the Hispanic fans in Rhode Island mean a lot to us. I know that, Koke, Frank, like especially these guys, like who can really create that connection for the club, it means a lot to us. And for myself, as someone who doesn't speak Spanish well, and it still means a whole lot to me to see, people who look like us come out and support. And it's just a pleasure to see the band, La Banda, come out every week and to have that behind us. You hear it while you're playing. It gives you strength. It means a whole lot to have that community and all of our fans come out and support us.
I mean, fan appreciation, I think, says it all. I think the show out that we had from everybody was amazing. And for us to have that performance going into playoffs is exactly what we needed. Building confidence, building morale, and just really taking that, being on the front foot as we're going into next weekend. So.
Not your first hat trick ever scored in your professional career, but definitely your first for Rhode Island and Rhode Island's first hat trick ever scored. What was that like, especially knowing after you got the third one there? What was it like knowing you earned that record?
That was amazing. It's something that I told myself that I wanted to do before whenever I signed here. I just was hoping it was going to come a lot earlier in the year. But, whenever you have to miss the first 10, this is kind of one of those that keeps you coming back for more. Like, it's, the way I joke around about it all the time is your round of golf might not be great, but as long as you hit your last drive is really good, it keeps you coming back for more. So it's one of those. Thankfully, we have more games in the upcoming weeks, and that's just a confidence builder and a little glimpse of hopefully what I can do rolling into playoffs and what I'm looking forward to. So.
Any planned special tradition or celebration for that ball, having gotten this hat trick?
No, not yet. Just the last one I gave to my dad on his birthday. So that's actually, is it October? I got a little bit more time. So either Father's Day. My dad keeps everything of mine. He loves it. So I just typically try to surprise him with that. So.
In that hat trick, you did convert a penalty, something Rhode Island FC players have struggled with this season. Walk us through what's the process now for this team to take the penalties. What's coaches' expectations? You went up to the spot. Can you walk us through how that works now?
We've spent a lot of time on them. It's crazy to me that we've only gotten 2. That was our third all year. It's crazy. I know guys that have scored three times the amount of that on one team and one guy alone. So it's just really crazy that we've only gotten 3 all year. I think that there's a number of more that we probably could have gotten and whatever. But I mean, we really prepare for them, and I think that when you get to the end of the year, that's something that you have to do, because however games shake out, at some point you might have to be in that situation. Your team might have to be in that situation. So that's something I felt confident with. I just stepped up to the spot, and I wasn't available the last game. I could have taken that one. I had 100% confidence in Noah, and Deco I was injured for the very first one. So that's just kind of someone that I knew if it was going to happen again, then I would step into the spot. Didn't matter what was going to happen. So I'm thankful that my teammates had my back and supported me through that and knocked it down. So
you absolutely did. 8-1 is not a scoreline often seen in any, let alone the USL. Is this a sign of the talent on this team, or is this the right momentum? I guess I should ask, going into playoffs, or is this something where you don't count it against maybe tougher opponents coming up in elimination soccer next week?
I think week by week is what you got to think about it from here on out. But I mean, really throughout the season, anybody can beat anybody, and that's just kind of the way I think about it. It's all about your preparation and then about how you show up on game day, and that's kind of the biggest thing. So we can think that we've done something great, but going into next week, it doesn't matter. It's a clean slate. Winner advances, loser doesn't, and that's how we have to think about it. We have to make sure that we enjoy tonight, and then we prepare right going into next week and making sure that we're executing, have a great game plan, and then go in there expecting nothing less than another win.
What does Coach tell you guys in the locker room at the halftime? You've come off a hat trick at that point. You guys have a sizable lead. What's the message that Coach instills on you guys in that 15-minute break?
Just don't let up. This is a time that we show why we're professionals, and making sure that we're completing a professional performance. That's 90 minutes, not 45. So just because we got a lead, we had to make sure that we executed throughout that, and then making sure that we kind of send a message going forward that we want to be in this conversation, and I think we did a good job of that tonight. I really do. I'm excited for playoff football, and that's really what it's all about. You play all year to put yourself in a good spot, and I think hopefully everybody's confidence and everything's rolling right now, and we're going to be in a good spot going into next weekend.
You're one of the few players that has a publicly known multi-year contract with the organization, meaning you will definitely be available for Tidewater next year. Is there any lasting memories or legacy, having experienced Bern this year as a temporary home, that you're going to miss, or maybe not so much miss now that you'll be moving to Tidewater next season?
I mean, all I can say about it really is everybody, marketing team, everybody in the front office has done a great job making this a temporary home for us. I know that it wasn't ideal for anybody, but it was absolutely fantastic. And I'm so thankful for what everybody in the front office and marketing team has really done for us. It's meant a lot. The support that we've had, everybody from Rhode Island coming out has been amazing. So it only is going to go to show what it's going to be like next year, especially when we have a place to call home. And everything that people have done going towards that stadium, the constant things that go on behind the scenes that we don't even know, it's just amazing. So thank you to anybody that needs to be thanked, because it's going to be amazing next year.
And then finally, for the playoffs, the theme now, never say die. What does that mean to you personally?
I mean, how many times have we scored past the 85th minute this year? I mean, it just goes to show it doesn't matter what position you are in, doesn't matter how late it is in the game, doesn't matter if you're winning, losing, whatever, you have to make sure you're executing all the way through the final whistle. You're never out of it. You really aren't. So just making sure that you're staying in there, keep looking forward and keep performing. That's what we got to do. Anything to do to get a win. Never say die.
Me siento bien porque es increíble el primer año de este equipo aquí en la liga, clasificar a playoff teniendo buenos resultados y seguir adelante partido por partido a ver si podemos darle una alegría aquí a los fans de Rhode Island.
¿Qué piensas de los fans?
De los fans, sorprendidos, muy buena afición, siempre nos están apoyando. Cuando no empezamos bien la temporada siempre estuvieron ahí apoyando, esperando este momento a levantar, y sorprendidos los fans.
En especial la barra.
Sí.
¿Tú crees que la barra ha sido importante en el empuje o en el apoyo hacia el equipo?
Sí, siempre es importante la barra porque nos hace sentir un jugador más sobre el terreno, siempre el apoyo, nos levantan, gritan los goles cuando lo hacemos. Eso nos da un ánimo especial para siempre esforzarnos al máximo y sacar los resultados.
¿Y qué piensas de la próxima temporada? ¿Te gustaría seguir acá?
Bueno, eso es una pregunta que no puedo responder ahora, eso no está en mis manos ahora mismo.
¿Hasta cuándo tienes contrato?
Tengo contrato de 1 año con opción a otro, pero hasta ahora no puedo comentar nada de eso, no está en mis manos.
¿Y cómo sientes, haciendo una autocrítica, cómo ha sido tu rendimiento durante toda la temporada?
Yo pienso que mi rendimiento ha ido de menos a más. Yo pienso que ha sido bueno. Para un defensa central